I don't know what I want to do.
That's fair.
Classic. Oh, welcome to Beerfield. I am your host, joined by my co-host.
I'm your host.
Joined by my co-host.
We have no names.
Nobody needs to know who I am.
Nah, fuck it.
He's Thury BFF, or was, formerly known as Thury BFF. He's Dan Thury,
yeah.
Beerfield Thury. I'm Beerfield Hop with 2Ps, formerly known as at Hop BFF with 2Ps. 2Ps are important. Welcome to the show. Yeah, indeed. Welcome to the show. So this week, much like every week, probably have about 2 hours of boring stuff for you. No, kidding. We're going to go into some guys who are trending upwards. So went in and grabbed some quick stats over the last 3 weeks to look at some people that may be on your bench, that may be on the waiver wire, that may be on somebody else's bench, that are very acquirable via trade. Should we deem them relevant? We're going to talk a little bit about, if the last 3 weeks is for real, if it's for fake, if it was maybe just an illusion based on one big performance, and then kind of break down, maybe some guys you should change your opinion on, since we're a third of the way through the season.
That's right.
Or about to be a third of the way through the season after this week. And then, as always, we'll have your Week 7 preview, because that's what we do here. We preview things. So we'll have your Week 7 preview. Before we get into that, couple of quick programming notes here. Sure, we'll be on Tuesday next week. That is because I have homebrew meetings the third Wednesday of every month. This is not my only hobby, believe it or not.
Shocking.
I know. So
we have lives. I know, guys.
Yeah, so one weekend a month will be on Tuesdays. We will maybe have a live stream on Sunday, maybe not. The reason for that is because we also don't get paid squat to do this. I have a day job that requires me to work an occasional weekend. Those of you that have been listening for a while have seen this happen before. So, I have to work actually all day Saturday, part of overnight on Saturday, and potentially into Sunday. So, it'll just depend on how that goes and if we're done by the time we would normally live stream. I can almost promise you it will not be before the London game. So, takeaway there. There's a London game this week. Again, so set your lineups on Saturday night.
God damn it.
But it definitely won't be before the London game. May get it in before the noon games, however. So, how are you going to know, you ask? Or maybe you're not. I'm going to hope you are. You're going to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're going to, or subscribe, I guess. You can't really like it. You're going to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're going to hit the notification icon. That way when we go live, you know about it. Because otherwise you're not going to know. Because we only do one episode a week. So there's not another chance for me to tell you.
Yeah. And we don't always go on time because,
we're us.
We're us. And through 358 episodes, we ain't fucking changing, baby.
That's right. Or we do change all the time.
We actually change
the one constant is we don't change the fact that we change, I guess.
The one constant is we're always changing.
The one constant is there's no constant.
Yeah, right. And we're never prepared. We're always ready, we're always ready, but never prepared.
The first weekend of November I definitely won't be on a live stream. Because I got tickets to go watch the Bills and the Jaguars in Jacksonville.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, go watch me.
You gonna wear your Josh Allen jersey that you're about to buy before you get there?
No, I'm going to wear my Blake Bortles jersey.
Oh, my God.
Why wouldn't
be like, bring back Bortles.
Why wouldn't I?
Bring back Bortles.
So, yeah, I got those this week. We're going to visit, me and my boss, who's a friend of mine, are going to visit a former work colleague and friend down there. So we're going to do apparently some surf fishing on Saturday. And then go to a Bills-Jags tailgate and game. Paul Posluszny is supposed to be at the tailgate, so that'll be fun.
Nice.
Posluszny was good.
Good.
It was good. All right, cool. So now that we're through that, more fun stuff.
What's fueling Beerfield?
Dan?
I am drinking...
More whiskey?
No. You would think right now if you're a betting man, I'm actually drinking my own brewery. Drinking the Stills Red Bird Ale. This is a very limited time. Can't really get it much where, so I had to put it on the show. This is their American Red Ale. Look, we are pro anything really red here.
I do like
besides
red.
me.
I do like red
me
ales.
Being a Black Eyes fan, and I do love red ales. We love red beers. I know. I know.
It's opening night, baby.
That is fucking sparkly as mine though.
If I'm yelling,
goddamn consolation.
If I am yelling after 9:00, it's because there's a goal scored, and we will go past 9:00 because we always do.
Yeah,
but
we go short.
You got a red ale? Is that gonna be distributing by me?
Yeah, it might be. Next time I'm down there, I'll bring you a candle.
Cool.
There's enough of them up here. If you make it your way before I get down there, then
I will be.
You can purchase it in various places.
Where will I be? When will I be? I'm working this weekend, and I got to work next Sunday, but I will be up there like during the week at some point, briefly.
Okay.
I don't know. I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it.
I'm not either. I'll get it. I'll get one.
We'll get there.
Don't worry. We'll get there. All right. I am double fisting. So
ooh.
I have two things here. The first thing I have is this has probably been on the show before, but it's been long enough. A Big Muddy Peanut Butter Cup Stout. So beside that, I have my own Peanut Butter Cup Stout. The one that was talked about on Sunday as being one of the better brews at Brew in the Lou. My buddy Dan Etling, actually, we brewed it together. The keg we tapped there was his, so my keg has not been touched. Only thing that was not done the same is we both controlled fermentation differently and then added our own extract to it. So different levels of peanut butter to the two of them. So I'm going to go side by side here. This really isn't a competition because Big Muddy does a really good peanut butter stout. It's really like a measuring stick to see how close or what needs to improve. So that's why we're doing this.
That's fair.
All right. Let's go ahead and get into some of the news first because that's what we do. But I'm going to play the drop so I can take a drink for a second.
Okay.
News.
All right, starting it off, Coach John Gruden has stepped down as head coach of the Raiders. This is after some pretty scathing emails came out last week, him using racial, not slurs, but euphemisms, if you will, towards DeMaurice Smith, who's head of the NFLPA at the time, misogynistic comments about women referees, bad words about, LGBTQ players, particularly related to the Michael Sam draft pick and the NFL allegedly throwing some pressure out there. Look, if there was a group that you could have offended that wasn't a white man, John Gruden had it in the email. So
that and then some.
He tried to come out and say that there wasn't a racist bone in his body.
Which means you're racist.
It's even worse, given the fact that the only openly gay player in the NFL is on his team. So he stepped down after the game on Sunday. Tampa Bay immediately removed him from their Ring of Honor, and it is likely the last you'll see Gruden on anything. So fun while it lasted. 3 years into a 10-year deal.
Also, Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders, knew about this on Friday. The emails were leaked. It's made public on Friday. And Hopper, I don't know if you know this, but last Friday was before last Sunday.
It was.
Mark Davis, the piece of shit man that he is, sat on this information and probably wasn't going to fire Gruden until the pressure came down further from the league. And as he continued to sift through the hundreds and thousands of emails sent to Dan Snyder during this egregiously long span Also, Adam Schefter did not come out unscathed in this.
Well,
Reports of him.
totally different for Schefter.
It is. It's not to the degree of Gruden. At least it was nothing towards the line of racial or homophobic terminology.
So, from Schefter's perspective, so some clarity, right? It's not at all even in the same ballpark. Schefter was caught basically asking Bruce Allen, former GM, to proofread a story about some of the bargaining that was going on in 2011 for the new CBA. And from a journalistic integrity standpoint, first off, my immediate reaction to this is probably the only true immediate reaction you should have to this. You mean it, which is basically, it's America, and you mean to tell me a giant media outlet is in the pocket of the rich people and skewing the stories they put out there? Because that's literally every media outlet in America. That's not
everywhere. That's everywhere.
To Schefter, ESPN, yeah. America's not state-run. It's a capitalist society, so it's millionaire, billionaire run. But regardless of that, from a journalistic integrity standpoint, if Allen was a source for that or contributed to that article, as a journalist, you don't want to burn your sources. So checking to make sure it looks good to them is not, I'd imagine that's not a unique thing.
No.
It's going to impact tone and everything, but I'd imagine that's not a unique thing. So, Schefter, whatever on that one. I mean, look, it's all politicking through the media anyway when you're doing negotiations and striking and labor arguments with the union. So,
oh yeah,
and it just happened down in Kentucky.
I don't expect anything to happen to him. It's just, I'm waiting. I'm like, just that kid in the candy store, like, the dog that's got the treat in front of him, and you're waiting to be told to go fetch it. You just get fucking giggity of all the other shit that probably won't come out, but I cannot expect to know, or how many other owners, coaches, GMs, potential players, adult players, but how many other, higher up personnel and staffing members from various teams across the league are part of this chain, and how much shit that the league could, really expose if they want to. Mm-hmm. They won't. That's too much lost product. That's almost like a death sentence. It's not an excuse. There's shit out there, put it out there, but we know that's not going to happen. But I just, it's got to be more than just Gruden, right? Got to be more.
Oh yeah, there's 650,000 emails. I mean, there's
got to be more shit there that's going to expose half the league, if not more.
Yeah, I agree. Gruden, look, I don't expect the system to change. They promoted the special teams guy. I don't expect
his son is on their roster.
I
think his son is still part of the coaching staff too. From what I saw.
So not a lot should change there.
No.
Okay. Keeping it moving. Gronkowski's out week 6 with his various internal injuries. Nothing to change there.
Don't really need him this week.
Nope. Julio Jones returned to practice. Joe Burrow's practicing in full after a throat contusion. This is going to be quick for some quick fire stuff. Here's one for you.
Not quick. I'm kidding.
Daniel Jones was concussed on Sunday and so he should be a practice observer, right? He's still in protocol. However, the Giants had him on the field taking snaps and throwing passes before practice. He observed practice, but before practice, he did his own side work.
Hey.
He's
Giants. Hey, Giants are all within the rules. So
all business.
It's Daniel Jones, so he needs all the practice he can get.
He's on track, apparently.
He's on track.
Whatever. On track for something. Nobody said on track for what, but he's allegedly on track.
The 400-meter rally or what?
I don't know.
Is he going to go run some track afterwards?
Could be.
Okay, hey, it's fats.
Tua's returned to practice. Dolphins are hoping he can play Sunday. So is Mike Gesicki and the rest of the offense.
Oh, my God. Dolphins look rough.
I said Packers for some reason. That should say 49ers. Same thing, right? So the 49ers have waived Jacques Patrick for everybody that ran out to sign him for no reason whatsoever, or pick him up off waivers. That's actually a pretty good sign that JaMychal Hasty could be ready to go after the bye and be activated from IR. So you're looking for a preemptive pickup, JaMychal Hasty, because the 49ers have had nothing in the running game, and they definitely need it. Other than that week one run of Elijah Mitchell, it's been pretty ugly.
I'm waiting for, God, I just had his name. One of the guys in IR. All he does is score touchdowns.
Jeff Wilson.
Jeff Wilson to come back. There you go.
Yeah, me too. He's on my IR.
Nice. Anyway. Come back, baby.
I think
we
that's
need
in
all those double-digit touchdown games.
I think that's in the beer league, actually, that he's on IR for me.
Well, then you need him.
I do need him.
It's a little important if you get him back and he starts to, be better than the shit they have now.
Indeed. Juju Smith-Schuster missed the rest of the season with a shoulder injury. Pittsburgh signed Anthony Miller in reaction to this.
And just like that, Anthony Miller now has been cut by Pittsburgh. That's what the headline will eventually say.
Yeah, I don't think he will be. Juju's out for the year.
I know.
They have kind of no faith in James Washington at this point, it would seem like. And also,
I have no real faith in that team to begin with. So,
yeah, I don't have faith in the quarterback is the problem there. That Anthony Miller eventually could be a candidate to replace Juju, I guess.
I mean, Juju bet on himself. He had multiple year deals from, I think, Baltimore and Kansas City in free agency.
Didn't work.
Decided to take the chance, come back, knowing that this year was the year that the salary was going to bump aggressively. So, sucks. I've always liked him. I know he's got kind of a bad rap from a personality standpoint, but I've always enjoyed him. So hopefully he can get back and leave the treachery in the shithole that is Pittsburgh.
I agree. Quintez Cephas placed on IR, broken collarbone, going to end his season. Amon-Ra St. Brown has been their team leader in targets the last 2 weeks, and I would expect him to get a lot of that Cephas volume that isn't there. Khalif Raymond, I guess, but different type of receiver. So,
well, they need to get Hockenson.
Yep, it's gonna
I'd like to see him get back involved, but it's not looking pretty.
No, it's not. But Cephas gone, so pass catchers bump up. Amon-Ra St. Brown's the guy you want to go for there. Cephas quietly having a pretty good start to the year, too, so kind of sad.
He was, yeah.
Edwards-Helaire placed on IR, knee injury, expected to miss a few weeks. It'll be Daryl Williams and Jerick McKinnon for the time being.
Some rumors that the Chiefs were interested in Marlon Mack. Mack's been kind of the hot topic because he asked for a trade, hasn't happened yet.
He's going to go somewhere before the deadline.
He'll go somewhere. I don't think anyone's shocked when I say that the Chiefs running game is not what's going to fix the problem with the Chiefs. So
no, it's
I don't think
not.
Trading for Marlon Mack is going to do much of anything.
They're finally getting bit by the fact that there's not been depth on that team for the last couple of years.
That defense is as bad as Dallas was. Basically, Dallas.
The defense is bad, and there's not enough depth on the offense to help that out. I mean, Travis Kelce's not been.
He's getting there. He's getting older.
Yeah.
And they've been ignoring the wide receiver 2 spot. I mean, for God's sakes,
for years
they had T. Higgins and Michael Pittman in their sights at pick 32.
Yeah.
And they decided to take Clyde when they didn't need to because they could have just waited and took somebody else. Because again, Clyde has got talent to him. It's the offense isn't predicated on a running game.
No, their offense is very much predicated on the passing game, and even if you like Clyde's receiving ability,
he's not Kareem Hunt.
He's not Kareem Hunt,
explosive enough in that offense.
Yeah, so they've got problems, and I think at least I was never a Mecole Hardman fan.
No, he was there to be drafted to replace Hill.
And he never was going to, so it's all exposed. But Daryl Williams is the name to know. He could give you some relevance there, especially in an area where a lot of running backs are hurt. I mean, Barkley's likely going to be down a couple weeks here, and you got Mixon working his way back. His snap count was only 28% last week. You've got Cook working his way back. He's been a bit banged up, but I mean, Dave Montgomery's out a couple weeks. Edwards-Helaire out a couple weeks. So, there's some guys there that you need to look at replacing. Daryl Williams is one of them. Now, granted, we record this show on Tuesday. Your waivers have probably already run, and you've missed that. So, make sure you're following our buddies at the Fantasy Headliners and Loaded Box and
other various platforms.
Roto Lounge. I don't want to forget anybody, but a lot of good platforms out there for more timely content.
Basic info you need.
Yep. Eagles, who play Thursday night, play Dallas Goedert on COVID-19 list. So there's that too. Might need a tight end. We'll have a couple for you in the next segment.
Yeah, we need some tight ends.
All right. We're looking at a couple guys who are trending up over the last couple weeks and really take a look at, are they real? Are they pretending? These are guys that they're likely not on waivers, but they are probably on benches. So these are guys that are, probably on benches. They weren't necessarily high draft picks. They weren't guys that you were running out to get. That if a team hasn't been bitten by the injury bug, could be trade surplus. Some guys to, maybe potentially target that aren't going to cost you an arm and a leg. And in shallower leagues, maybe they are on waivers. So I want to go ahead and start off. Just kind of run down the list here. It's organized by position. Let's start with James Conner. He's got touchdowns in the last 3 weeks. He's got 5 of them over the last 3 games. Touchdowns are a fluky stat, but he appears to be the goal line back on a very good at Cardinals offense.
I mean, it's kind of like the, LeGarrette Blount thing when he had that random 18 touchdown season. This is a top 3 offense in Arizona. They're 5-0. They have had the luxury of a positive game script for their running backs for all 5 games for the most part. And even though that Connor doesn't get involved in the passing game, they kind of give him the weekly floor and the confidence that we need to throw him out there in the RB2 slot. It's got touchdown upside.
Yeah.
If something happens to Chase Edmonds, then Connor will see the uptick in his role. For now, he's a great flex play. I mean, as you just mentioned, all the running backs are getting banged up at this point. It's not a bad thing to go out there and draft the goal line, or not draft, and pick up the goal line back for one of the highest scoring teams in football.
Yeah, and total yards wise, it's not like he's killing you. Three of his 5 games this year, he's been over 50 total yards. So you throw a touchdown on top of that, you're into double digits. So I mean, it's not a sexy play. This is a guy that is under 50% snap count. It's kind of a 60-40 split, I guess. But,
he's had 10 plus carries.
Yeah.
He's got 10. He's got at least 1 red zone carry in every game. He's got 10 over his last 3.
He's averaging 3 per game.
Yeah. I mean, it's someone that you want.
Yeah.
If you need RB help and you need.
It's a good bench player to have around. That's for sure. You got to plug him in.
I mean, it's not going to be great. You look at weeks 1 and 2.
He's not bulletproof.
There were more shootout. Yeah, he's definitely, and that's why we're not touting him as an RB2 even. He's a good flex play.
He is. A guy who you probably could consider an RB2 right now, Zach Moss. He's probably been inserted into some lineups, but Moss and Singletary were not drafted high either. So he's another one that could be, surplus on somebody's bench right now that you could go out and potentially target. Zach Moss right now is the RB16 over the last couple weeks.
I mean, he's getting majority snaps since the random week 1. They said healthy scratch, but you heard kind of reports that he was still kind of banged up. Didn't need to play him.
Snap count's gone up every week since week 1.
Exactly. He is the better of the 2 backs. And again, as we just mentioned about Cardinals, the Bills are also very high scoring. He gets involved in both the run and the passing game. And someone that you can probably try to get thrown into your trade deals. I doubt he's on waivers, but look, we're in that part of the season where a lot of teams sitting there, 2-3, 3-2, 4-1, potentially 5-0 are looking at this going, okay, I got to get myself prepared for what could come next in terms of injuries. Zach Moss might not be the most expensive player to acquire, and throw him into and throw him in as a throw-in piece in a deal, and you may be able to get yourself a nice, viable running back piece through your bye weeks.
And he is running some routes too. So
yes,
yeah, he is absolutely running some routes. So, and getting the red zone work, and the game script is normally in his favor. So just a couple things with him. Leonard Fournette seems to have taken over the Tampa Bay job.
As you should. I mean, he got shit on. The hot debate of, is it Rojo, is it Fournette? Obviously, we've seen the answer to that. He fits very well in this offense. It's a bigger version of the do-it-all back that Tom Brady liked, and a guy like Deion Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, bigger, faster, stronger, but he fits that same style of role. Obviously, the snap share's got in his favor, and even though Gio is still going to have his weeks, he is a primary pass catcher and hurry up and 2-minute offenses, but he has taken this role away from. He's taken Rojo's soul.
Yeah,
effectively.
No, he has been. He has been over. I think he's, other than the Week 3 game against LA, he's been over 50% snap share. Carries have been there for him. Over 100 total scrimmage yards the last 2 weeks. Routes run are decent for a back of his size. I mean, he's another one that is a little bit plus over, I would consider, Moss, or he's RB18 right now. He's a little bit plus over Moss and Connor, just because I expect him to continue to have a lot of insulated value here.
I mean, he's had nearly 5 targets every game.
Yeah.
He's 7th in targets amongst running back at 24. He's had no less than 3. He has a damn near perfect catch, record. He's had multiple. He's had back-to-back games of over 100 total yards, while seeing 65+% of the snaps. Yes, this is against the Dolphins and the Patriots, but the game against the Patriots was a dog shootout on Sunday night. Bad weather aside, but I mean, when push came to shove, your boy Fournette's out there.
Mm-hmm.
What's crazy is he scored 21 points last week, and that was not even an RB1 week.
No.
RB scoring went off a little bit last week, boys.
It definitely did. Anybody else running back you want to dive into? Those are the 3 that I saw that really jumped out to me.
No. I mean, we can talk about how much Myles Gaskin broke all of our hearts as we watched him get 2 receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, he did. The hard part for me with Gaskin is predicting when's that going to happen again, because
it won't.
Yeah, because
it might, but it won't.
The rushing work hasn't been there. He did see, he has seen target volume, but Gaskin's one that just looks like, okay, that was a random blow-up week, and maybe we're talking about him in another 3 weeks in a segment like this if we do it again. But not yet. I mean, you can do it as a precautionary ad with Tua coming back and see how they utilize him, but not yet.
I mean, so if you look at this, I'm not looking at their overall schedule coming up. But outside of in week 4 against Indy, I mean, he's playing in at least over 50% of the snaps. He gets all the work. I know we don't talk about taking away a player's game, but outside of week 4, he's running the routes. He's getting the target volume. Injuries are happening galore, and they need someone else to step up. Now, he's not getting the carry, so he is in a pure Gio Bernard with the Bengals. He's in this kind of odd role where he's satellite plus because they don't trust him, because for some fucking reason Malcolm Brown does. But 72.5% of the snaps against Tampa Bay. Look, he's become more of a, all right, they're probably playing against a team that's going to force them to throw more, force them to play more up tempo, and probably going to give up some points. Might be a Myles Gaskin week. We got a question here, too.
Go for it.
Sleek. Welcome, Sleek. Might be the first time I've seen your name here. Thank you for jumping in. Sleek asks, any thoughts on picking up Jarvis Landry or T.Y. Hilton from the waiver wire? Browns need as much receiving help as they possibly can, and we know that Baker's and Jarvis's history for the last 3 years have been great. I have no wanting of T.Y. This is not a great Colts offense, and the only one that's been viable has been Michael Pittman, unless Zach Pascal scores a touchdown. So I'm there. I'd pick up Jarvis.
Yeah, I would also pick up Jarvis, especially over T.Y. Jarvis is starting to run. He's close to getting back. You want to do a preemptive, somebody coming off of IL, it's going to be Jarvis Landry. So
I mean, it's not been sexy, but we're coming up with bye weeks. Hopper, as you talked about it, you especially like to have those safer floor options. And while Jarvis wasn't a great athlete as he's getting older, but his role isn't fit to where he needs to be hyper athletic. He's a volume, and he was Baker's safety blanket. And if you've seen what the Browns have been throwing to, it's not been pretty. Even with Odell back, it's been rough. And they miss a guy like Jarvis who just has that knack to work well with Baker.
Oh, I agree with that. Sorry, I'm trying to get... We'll move on to the next thing. I'm distracted.
It happens.
It's okay. All right.
It's okay.
Apparently this side I'm trying to use sex for mobile. All right, Jacoby Myers. I'm looking at the wide receiver front. So Jacoby Myers, kind of the anti-Hollywood Brown. That is that Jacoby Myers has damn near no boom to his game. He has yet to score an NFL touchdown. He's not going to blow up on any given week. But I always talk about the value of going through your bye weeks and going through the ebbs and flows of a season, having a guy like a Jacoby Myers or a Hunter Renfrow around that you can plug into one of those receiver spots and utilize for a floor game if you need them. And the fact is that Jacoby Myers is 7th in receptions. He's 8th in targets. He's running about every route for the Patriots, who are a top 10 team in pass plays per game. He's on the field. He's only got one drop. He's reliable. The only thing he's missing is the boom game, and he doesn't really bust you. So
goddamn touchdown. It's gonna come
it's
for
the
him.
touchdown.
It's gonna come in like 3 or 4. Like it's gonna be some game where like people are so down on him because maybe he just had an off game, and all of a sudden we're gonna get like a 15 target, 12 catches for 130 and 3 touchdowns. People are like, where the fuck was this? No, I mean we've always been a pro Jacoby Myers show. I mean, top 10 in a lot of respected categories. Look, he has his role. He's a great possession receiver. He's a great safety blanket for Mac Jones. As him and Aguilar have kind of built this nice dual relationship where Aguilar can work more vertically. He's become one of the better and more reliable deep threats. I also like him. And if the Patriots are having to throw it at a top 10 rate, Mac Jones, while not sexy by any means, he's highly efficient, and he should only get smarter and better and just become more comfortable within that role that whatever New England's asking him to do. So Jacoby, great in PPR leagues. Look, the touchdowns will eventually come.
They've got to. You don't get that amount of work and you're that good without eventually running into a touchdown or 3 or 4 or whatever.
Just needs something. I mean, what sucks is he's not a hyper athlete. So a lot of the big plays, I'm not going to say are out of his realm of possibility. It's just you're not going to get the lawn pitch and catch and run. Lawn catch and run. It's one of those. They get to the red zone. Unfortunately, he has to fight with a running game and then 2 very viable red zone threats, and it's going to come from 4th in the league in slot snaps too, so he plays in that perfect role. Love the call out.
Yeah, I completely agree with myself.
Distracted, I love it.
All right, next.
I agree with myself.
With myself, I'm done. Sorry, we're doing Bourbon Advent calendars, and I was trying to get signed up for the one that I need to be in. Is an admin. We're getting all that set up. the Bourbon Advent calendars are basically, you'd actually really like the concept.
I love Advent calendars. They're fantastic.
Yeah, so the way that we do this one is 25 people sign up, 25 people bring a bottle that they poured into 25 sample bottles. So basically, everybody donates a bottle, and
That's cool.
it's a big old exchange. So, yeah, admins are going into one of the 5 basically.
Is it all like super fancy bourbons or?
No. So we did 2. One of them is so for a Patreon group, we did top shelf calendars. The top shelf calendars are a market value, so which could include secondary, of $75 or above. So doesn't have to be necessarily allocated or anything like that. Like you could go out and buy an Old Elk Weeded for $80 and get it in there, or you could buy a Weller for $40 because the market value is higher than. Higher than 75, you can get it in because of what it goes for in secondary. And then for the main group calendars, we did mid-shelf, which is 35 or higher. So,
okay, I get you.
Yeah.
So it's a price point.
It's a price
I like
point.
It, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. We should talk about that after the show.
Sure.
I may want to be involved. All right. Anyways.
Okay. Jacoby Myers.
We talked about
him.
I agree.
Darius Toney.
Oh, Tony.
I had Fournette highlighted. Sorry. So Kadarius Toney, who's hurt, 11th in reception, 7th in the receiving yards, and most of that has been over the last 2 weeks. Kadarius Toney has had a huge impact. He's been very usable. He's been very boom. But 21 targets over the last 2 weeks, 189 yards last week, 78 yards the week before that. A little bit involved in the rushing game. There's been a lot to like, but he's banged up now. And the other problem is that, while he had Kenny Golladay there last week, well, never mind the fact that he punched somebody as well. But while you had Kenny Golladay there last week, Sterling Shepard's been out, Darius Slayton's been out. So not only is he banged up now, but as those guys get healthy, how is he going to be used going forward? I don't expect the 10 or 7 targets to hold up.
No. But before we get to Kadarius Toney, we got another question.
Well, I already got to Kadarius Toney, but in the middle of Kadarius Toney, we'll answer a question.
That's what I'm saying. Before we continue with Kadarius Toney, the most beloved receiver.
By you.
Don't vet me by that. From Jack. Welcome, Jack.
What's up, Jack?
Jack got offered a trade where he would receive Kareem Hunt and give up Justin Herbert. He asked if he should accept. His backup quarterback is Jalen Hurts.
What format? Is it single quarterback, I'm guessing?
assuming single QB. If it's super flex, then you hit no and you just block the person from ever giving you trade offers.
Said his other quarterback's Jalen Hurts?
Yeah.
Yeah, mash accept.
Honestly, I would want more, right? I kind of want more than just Kareem Hunt. Like, it's really difficult to trade QBs in single QB leagues for most people.
Oh, hold on, who's he sending out?
He's receiving Kareem Hunt and trading away Justin Herbert.
Yeah, so if that's a possibility, I would trade away Herbert and get Hunt.
I would see if I can get more.
I wouldn't.
But
here's why. Hold on, I'm getting there.
I know.
You know where I'm going to go with this. You know exactly where I'm going to go with this.
Still want more. Or see if you can package him up in a deal where you can get a guy who's more of a bell cow than it's not sharing the field.
Justin Herbert's is a QB5. Jalen Hurts is a QB7. The difference between those two is 0.2 of a point.
No, I'm not saying don't trade. You can trade either of them. Herbert probably has more value. Single QB 0.75 QBR. Or, I'm sorry, PPR, not QBR. So you get 3/4 of a point per reception.
So you would not, just understanding here, in single quarterback, you would not give up Justin Herbert for the running back 4.
for Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt is the RB4 right now in half point. I'll look at it in full PPR too.
Well, I don't really care about.
He's the 5 in full PPR. So in single quarterback, when you have a quarterback that is averaging 0.2 of a point less than the guy you're giving up on your roster, you would not give that up for the RB4. Because I would in a heartbeat.
I would not give up. I would not trade for a running back who's seen less than 50% of the snaps in every game but one, who's got no more than 15 carries in a game.
I would trade it.
And while the target volume is there, which is nice, is that he is running medium amount of routes. Look, he's making that way because he has 5 touchdowns on the season. We know touchdowns are a sticky stat. It's going to vary all over the place. He's been vulturing Nick Chubb touchdowns. Look, I get where he's ranked, and I understand what the guy who's traded him for. If you're trying to trade Kareem Hunt, why are you asking for Justin Herbert in the first place? I mean, are you that desperate for a quarterback in a 1 QB league? Go fucking pick somebody up in the waiver wire.
Right. So it's a steal for the guy that's asking the question.
I look at beyond just touchdowns. Look,
okay.
If you're in an RB needy situation, then sure. But I would want something a little more stable than Kareem Hunt.
80 plus. Look, I would give up a QB1. I would give up a quarterback in a single quarterback league for Zach Moss or Leonard Fournette because they're so devalued in a single quarterback league on a week-to-week basis. I love Justin Herbert, but in redraft single QB, you just said yourself, it's really hard to trade away quarterbacks. I would take anything I could get that was perceived value that helped my team at a harder position to get. If you have an injury at running back, there is nothing on the waiver wire. We just talked about why Zach Moss and Leonard Fournette should be trade pieces. I would take Kareem Hunt over either of them.
Oh, yeah. But no, I mean, so he just said his QB is Taylor Heineke.
Oh, that changes it.
I get it. Dude, I understand. I do.
That changes my opinion a little bit, though. Because I thought you said it was Hurts. I'm not looking at YouTube.
No, his QB. So the guy that nothing has changed from his end. He has both Herbert and Jalen Hurts. The quarterback of the other team right now is Taylor Heineke.
That doesn't change anything for me.
It doesn't change. It wouldn't change anything for anybody. I mean, it just makes it. He's desperate. He's desperate, and he's selling medium high. Like if I'm trading for a quarterback, I mean, Jalen Hurts. like if you're going to target a quarterback, but again, I'm not going to give his other guy advice on this. If you're looking to move them, I want something a little more stable. I'm trying to maximize.
Okay, let me do this. If you can get more, do it, but I would not turn down that trade if he balks at trying to give you more. I would try to get more, but I would not balk at that trade. What are you waiting for?
No, I'm saying go look at other offers then. Or go see if you're looking to move, then go see.
You just talked about how dumb the guy was giving up Kareem Hunt for Justin Herbert. You think you're going to go get a better offer somewhere in the league when somebody's already offering you?
We've seen a lot of stupid fucking trades and a lot of stupid
somebody's already offering you what you would consider overvalue?
Yeah. Again, I want something a little more stable.
Hold on. What's your running back situation, Jack? Well, we argue about this. What is your current running back situation? Because what if he has two backs that are already more stable?
So then you're trying to fill up a flex.
Then you're trying to fill in your flex spot with the RB4 right now that gives you a week-to-week upside.
Fine. How about this? How about you do this trade and then you flip Kareem Hunt? Because why? Because you are banking on a running back who sees half the snaps in every game, doesn't run a tremendous amount of routes, and you're banking off of touchdowns. The same reason why we told people we don't want people to draft highly on Nick Chubb. Same situation if he doesn't catch passes. So he has Dalvin Cook, Chris Carson, and Cordell Patterson. So not the most stable, but it's not horrible.
Well, I mean, that's another argument for me to go get Kareem Hunt, too, though.
Again, if you want to make this trade, I would then flip Kareem Hunt. Fine. Trade him and then flip him for someone else. Either package him in a deal, maybe with Cordell Patterson. He also has Damian Harris. And then maybe move up for Jonathan Taylor.
And I would like to just throw this out there about only getting half of the snap count. He's getting half the snap count on a team that runs more than any other team in the league. So, I mean, they're running more than the Titans.
Yeah, that's another issue, but
that's a whole nother angle on it. So, but I don't disagree with your point, right? Because you admitted earlier that it's overvalue for Justin Herbert. Kareem Hunt's a more valuable trade chip later on if you need it too, or if you decide you want to flip it. So, if anything, it's hard for me to see you accepting this trade and thinking that your roster is structured any worse. You either have another running back to mix and match with what you already have to play the matchups and go week to week on a team that runs more than any other team in the league, and a guy that, has produced through 5 weeks, so you can't really say it's a fluke, and produced the end of last year, so you can't really say it's a fluke, but you also have a more valuable trade chip later on if you decide you want to try to upgrade again. I see no reason to decline that trade because Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts, who would be replacing him effectively on your roster, the difference is 0.2 of a point a week. And Hurts has higher upside. So
Hurts will almost always have higher upside because of the rushing floor.
Yep. If
Philly's offense could figure his shit out. Now, there is the concern that the Eagles continue to lose and they then use Jalen Hurts as an escape boat, but we're not going to go down that rabbit hole because that's a lot to happen.
Here's what we're saying. To sum it up and put a bow on this.
Yes.
I think between the two of us, what we're saying is try to get a little more, see if you can get a little sweetener on top of that. If you can't, don't tank the deal over that. Get Kareem Hunt for Herbert, and then decide from there if you want to write it based on all the stats that we just threw out there, or if you want to try to flip Kareem Hunt while the value is still super high and try to get to something a little bit more stable, which is going to be easier for you to do with that trade chip than it would be for a Justin Herbert trade chip. Is that pretty much a good way to summarize advice we both threw out there? Yeah.
That is a great way to summarize it. Sell high off of Kareem Hunt after you trade for him. Whether it be a receiver.
Or ride with it. Either way.
I mean, I wouldn't. I would try to, if you think his value is super maximum. I mean, granted, in a perfect world, this would work. We know that's not the case. He plays in a league where a league mate is offering up a top 10 running back for a quarterback in a single QB league. So, Jack, I wish you the best of luck, bud. Please come back and in upcoming weeks and give us a update. I want to know. I'm going to live vicariously through you in this league because.
Yeah, I'm looking at the touch numbers on Hunt, by the way, and it's still 14, 15, 18 a game. So just because of how much the Browns use their backs. I'm checking another thing I said. Hold on. That's actually up from late last year, but I mean, it's right in line with where they used him the majority of last year. So,
I mean, he has his role.
Other than when Chubb,
like you said, he's on a very high running volume offense.
Yeah, and you can't. And also, like I said, I mean, it's not like he's just done this the first 5 weeks of this year. This is continuation of last year too. So,
I mean, he's had
what he
role
is
since he's been with the Browns.
Yeah.
Yes. And then again, it's great that he's a touchdown a game average. It's very hard.
By the way, great thing to have us debate on. By the way, because I think
who ever thought Kareem Hunt would have been what brought the juice out?
Well, Kareem Hunt brought the juice out, and it's funny because I think we're both of the opinion that Kareem Hunt's a valuable asset, and you're damn lucky to be getting that valuable of an asset in a single quarterback league. It's just, what do you do with it later?
I'm trying. It's me trying to think of, Justin Herbert's such a sexy name right now. It's like, just Kareem Hunt?
He is a sexy name. That's why I went and looked up the difference, because I knew that Hurts was up there because of the rushing floor and garbage time. So I wanted to see what the difference was. And so far this season, it's not much. It's 0.2 of a point a game. And overall, there's a 1 point difference between that. And for those that are wondering why we say quarterbacks are not necessarily super valuable in a single QB league, it's because the difference between QB1 and QB7 right now is 2.2 points a week.
And I promise you, Jalen Hurts could have been had after all of those guys. Maybe I'm not.
Jalen Hurts is the QB7, so
yeah,
you couldn't take Jalen Hurts after Jalen Hurts, but the top 6, you're absolutely right. That's a victory lap, and guess what? So could Sam Darnold and Matthew Stafford, who are 8 and 9, right below that. So
this is why you stream quarterbacks. This is why you don't reach on a single QB. You wait for the one mid to late round mobile quarterback that is in a good situation. It happens every year. We think it's not. It happens every year. Every year we get one of these guys that just it's boom, it's right there. It was Dak one year, it was Allen last year, it was Mahomes his second season. It happens every year. All right. I don't know if I want to go back to Kadarius Toney, but we got to go back to Kadarius Toney.
I think we can sum up Kadarius Toney pretty quick, which is this. You got to see how he's used with everybody healthy. This was really here to say he's done well given his opportunity, but don't over buy into that yet until you see you can throw him on your bench because of the upside if he's out there. Should already probably be picked up.
Yes.
He's a guy on this list that I'm not going out to trade for right now.
No.
Because the value is super high, and I think that's going to go down as the volume goes down when Slayton and Shepard get back.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see who he takes away from. He's got this, he's used all over the place. He's like a gadget, but they want to use him as a traditional receiver. Look, we know you don't have to watch too much film to see how there is talent to Toney. We didn't like Toney, especially I didn't like Toney because of his overall profile. And from a film standpoint, look, he did what he did in his final year with Florida. He showed why a team took him in the first round. They fell in love with what we saw from him on Sunday. And I agree, though. There's so many injuries. Daniel Jones is banged up. The fact that Toney was ejected from that game for fucking punching somebody from Dallas. Look, the guy's obviously riding high. So, all right. New player,
Michael Pittman.
Oh, let's do it.
All right. Michael Pittman right now is 11th in targets. You look at the last couple games. This is a guy that's pulling in double-digit targets, really. His low over the last 4 weeks is 7, his high is 12. He's getting red zone looks. Receptions are there. Yardage has been there. He hasn't been under 50 yards in the last 4 weeks. Hasn't been under 10 fantasy points. He's emerged as the number 1 wide receiver on the Colts, I think, as a lot of us, expected him to. Second in the league in route participation. He's 12th in red zone targets. Not really getting targeted deep a whole lot, but, he's basically doing a good Keenan Allen impression right now.
He's this team's alpha. We told you guys throughout the offseason that you needed to be adding, Pittman or Campbell. You need to be targeting one of these Colts receivers. They were going late in drafts. You're effectively getting them for free. And Pittman, while I don't love him as a prospect, he's caught Wentz's eye. Wentz saw him on Tinder and he swiped right. And the great thing about this is, and what people are not going to maybe notice is, he's doing this against some of the best defensive backs in the league. Doing it against Jalen Ramsey, Janoris Jenkins, Xavier Howard, while he may not be what he used to be, Marlon Humphrey. He's having these great games, and all he's been missing is just that touchdown. Look, it's the Colts, right? They've been a bit of a dumpster fire, and they're not the highest scoring team. Pittman doesn't have wide receiver 1 upside, but he's a great wide receiver 2-3. He's great for bye weeks because he gives you consistency and he gives you the target volume that you need. He has become this team's number 1, this team's alpha, and Wentz's most trusted receiver. I go out and trade for him.
Yeah.
I'll go out and trade for him.
I looked at it very strongly earlier this week about going out and trading for Michael Pittman, especially if you're on a team that maybe has Allen Robinson and Calvin Ridley and a couple guys and T. Higgins that look great on paper to start the season, but 2 of them haven't really performed and one of them's been hurt. you need some help, Michael Pittman's not going to break the bank for you.
Yeah. I think he's even a play for, he might even be a play in Dynasty. Colts QB situation, to me, still seems a bit fluid. I don't think Wentz is the future there. But look, though, I mean, Pittman's a younger version of Allen Robinson, of Dez. Like, he's this anti-separator, but wins with, with body control and his big-ass hand. I think he has big-ass hands. I don't see hand size on here. But he's got, 69th percentile arm length and an 89th percentile catch radius. So we know who Pittman is, and he hasn't reached that age apex yet. So
nope.
Go out there. You can get 2, 3, 4 more years of this type of production if the quarterback situation gets better than Wentz, which it could be. Wide receiver 24, he's a wide receiver 2 in fantasy right now.
Indeed. A guy that is beyond the age apex, but has had some good yardage weeks and a couple of touchdown-driven weeks as he's getting targeted out the ass is Emmanuel Sanders. He's a wide receiver 6 over the last 3 weeks.
Look, he's an upgrade from John Brown, right? I mean, the Bills hit the upgrade button and got the new LaShawn McCoy. I mean, Emmanuel Sanders is coming off of what feels like a leg injury every year, and he just ends up being almost a more improved. Look, Buffalo also doesn't run the football. They are very comfortable with Zach Moss and Devin Singletary being who they are, and Allen doing what he does. And Sanders benefits the most. Look, Diggs is struggle, but Diggs also takes away top coverage, shaded coverage. And Sanders has been one of the best deep threats in football over the last, I don't know how many years. And it's benefited both Sanders and Dawson Knox, who I'm sure we'll talk about in this show.
We are going to talk about Dawson Knox
God
soon.
damn it, we got to pound the fucking table for our boy. Look, so Sanders has proved himself in one of the highest scoring teams, one of the highest throwing teams. No matter who they play. Look, they've done this in games where they've shut out teams. This is not a game script dependent player anymore. This team will throw. They know who they are, and they will continue to put the foot on the neck when they're up double-digit points. Sanders is also a great pick.
Thanks.
So, good job.
Thank you so much.
I know you've been vying for my acceptance, so you're welcome.
Totally. Marquez Callaway, wide receiver 15. 12 in standard. That's very touchdown dependent as well on an offense that is not throwing nearly as much as what the Bills are. So I give you one guy in Sanders who's doing it with touchdowns that is probably real. The Callaway, not a lot of target volume. He is the one on this team right now. Very boom bust.
Michael Thomas is slated to come back within a week or two. I think he might be eligible.
He was on the PUP, so he's eligible after this week.
And at that point, you have then a lower volume offense. I mean, this team is dead last in team pass plays per game. Look, I'm not going to sit there and say I didn't pound the table for Callaway, because I did. Drafted him everywhere.
You did.
We liked Winston. We liked what that could have become. We love the upside from what we saw in Tampa. Maybe that be translated over to a Sean Payton offense. Fix the mistakes, strengthen the strengths. And what we've seen is a dumpster fire Saints offense that doesn't throw the football. And Callaway, it's basically getting it done on what seems to be lucky throws with the number one receiver coming back. He is an easy sell high if you can. At this point, I don't know how many people are buying. It's been ugly. It's nice to see he got 8 targets this past week against Kendall Fuller. But he's also, as you just said, he's basing his production off of touchdowns because he's not getting a lot of yards. The yardage volume has finally caught up to it. 85 this past week and 74 the week before.
Yeah. That 74 was on 2 targets and 2 receptions, too.
Yeah.
So.
I would feel a lot better if the Saints weren't dead last in passing plays per game.
Right.
And maybe that does change with Taysom Hill's injury, but it's hard. It's the Saints offense is so ugly that they're
taking their shots, but yeah, it's.
And maybe this will help when Callaway enters more of that number 2 role when Thomas comes back.
Mm-hmm.
He'll probably end up being dropped within a couple of weeks because he'll post what he posted the first couple of weeks of the season where he wasn't getting touchdowns.
Right. Yeah, and it was pretty ugly there. 14 yards and 8 yards, just 6 targets over those first couple weeks. And it's not like the target volume's ramped up hugely. It's just caught a couple deep balls, so don't run out and chase that one.
Nope.
Hunter Renfrow.
Dog, bye. I don't give a fuck. Just go out and get him. Even though Derek Carr is he going to play?
I think so, yeah. Don't know why I wouldn't.
I thought he got hurt.
Not that I recall.
Okay. I think I'm mistaking him for Daniel Jones.
You probably are.
Same player.
Renfro's Jacoby Myers, but occasionally catches a touchdown, is basically what that is. The target volume's about the same. He just occasionally gets the touchdown grab.
And he plays a little closer to the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
But, hey, I mean, the Raiders, again, not a great team. I don't know how a team can win 3 games in a row while being down double-digit points in all 3 of those games, but they found a way. If the Raiders are going to continue to start off slow and put themselves in holes, it's only benefits a guy like Renfrow has become a complete target, blanket for Carr alongside Waller. I mean, you know what you're getting from him. Raiders are a top 5 in team passing plays per game. His ADOT is 87th in the league, and he gets a lot of the high value catch. He's basically a running back that just only runs routes.
Yeah, pretty much. He's a running back that only runs routes, and but very reliable. He gets a lot of separation. So
yeah, he is. That move he put out, I forgot what game it was against.
But
I think
double
it was against
move.
the Chargers. Yeah, that he got in the red zone. That was against the Chargers on that Monday night game. That was in a butte.
It was indeed. But yeah, like I said, it's Myers with upside. But again, type of guy as we get into bye weeks. The first bye weeks are this week that you like to have around. All right, tight end. Tight end is a hellscape for the most part. What's not been a hellscape? These 3 guys. First off, we're going to kick it off with Dawson Knox. It's been an absolute monster the last couple of weeks. Hey, we're a pro Dawson Knox show. That was pro Dawson Knox when he was drafted. He looked great on tape. He was just always hurt in college. But, I mean, and also overshadowed because of who he played with. Played with A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf,
DeMarcus
Lodge, who was
Elijah
also
Moore,
a pretty good receiver. Elijah Moore. Yeah. So, yeah, there was a lot of competition for Dawson Knox, but he's flashed over the last couple of years, which is what you want to see out of a tight end. Now he's 9th in receptions, 4th in yards, 10th in targets, 1st in touchdowns amongst tight ends. Getting a lot of red zone looks. Volume starting to go up as well for him.
I mean, just like we talked about with Sanders, he's one of the biggest beneficiaries of what Diggs does for his complement, pass catchers around him. Beasley hasn't done much this year. Allen likes to push the ball more downfield. It's like the first 2 weeks never happened. Remember when we were concerned about Josh? Remember when we had conversations about Josh Allen, and he just went off and just was like, you know what, guys, I'm going to show why.
And welcome back inside the NHL.
Jesus,
that should not be playing.
Oh my God!
I muted
now
that.
We're getting copyright.
We are going to get copyright claim because.
Oh my God!
I'm totally watching hockey right now, guys.
Throwing on the Blackhawks game in the middle of our docs.
I am throwing on the Blackhawks game in the middle of this, which.
All right.
Yeah.
Go on. I mean, I doubt Dawson Knox is on waivers. He's probably been picked up.
He should have been.
His first blow-up game. Touchdowns are going to come down. But if the targets are going to go up, he gets deep shots.
He does.
Like,
he's
almost every game, there's at least 1 or 2
over 10 yards in target distance, and he's athletic, hyper athletic, which we always say look for that in tight ends. This is a guy who, 109 spark, 4.64 40, 109 speed score, 121 burst. Those are all very, very good for a tight end.
Shout out to playerprofiler.com. If you're looking for all these great metrics, which
playerprofiler.com. I'm staring at it.
Playerprofiler.com.
I'm staring at it.
Same here. I always have it up.
Yeah. He's got good size to him as well. He's great. And it's not just touchdowns he's doing it with this year. That was kind of the concern with him last year. He always had the chance at running into one, just didn't always do it. But he's now top 10 in pretty much every category amongst tight ends, and is solidifying himself there in that tier right below Well, really, right now we're Kelsey and nobody else is, and Hawk, I guess, but
I mean, Hawk's not. I mean, it's just
Hawk's not even there.
It's just Kelsey. I mean, Waller his volume's dipped a little bit as the Raiders have become more of a vertical.
No,
passing
it has.
offense.
It's actually Kelsey, Dawson Knox, Mark Andrews, Dalton Schultz, who we're about to talk about.
Andrews is also based off of Monday night's game.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lamar. Shout out to Lamar. Best game, one of the best games I've ever watched.
Yeah. Best passing game of his career by far.
I mean, he can throw a football. Shocker. I know people out there like, oh my God, I'm going to play running back or something. Nope. Goes and breaks records.
Hey, all I ever said about his passing game is I wanted to see improvement.
That was not a shot at you.
I know.
I've always been waiting. Just you want to see it.
I just want to see it, and I want to see improvement. And I saw it, and there's been some improvement this year. So let's keep it up because that's what takes Lamar next level.
Oh my God, I don't want to see Lamar next level.
But I don't. Shit, I skipped over Hollywood Brown, by the way. Speaking of Lamar, 10th in receiving yards, wide receiver 10. He's ran into some big games the last couple of weeks.
I mean, it's Baltimore. It's becoming potentially Buffalo light with. Why not just ignore the running game and just,
Yeah, they are. Who would have thought?
Maximize the speed of our offense. This team is only going to be adding Rashad Bateman this week. Look, Brown has solidified himself as a reliable option. Ravens want to take deep threats. Lamar, if you watch his games, he is starting to rush to extend the pocket and extend the play more, not to run. This is only going to benefit a guy like Brown, who is based a lot of off of his speed and his ability to just win deep. Look, drops suck, we get it. But all the guy is getting is deep shots. And every single game, there's at least one or two where it's there. And as soon as Bateman, slides himself into what should be his alpha role,
Brown's going to be the deep guy.
The true X role. Brown's going to be deep guy plus. Think of Ruggs if Ruggs actually could hit consistently. And we've also been now seeing that too. So
yeah,
good on Brown. This Ravens offense, if they can continue to mature in this way, is going to be absolutely insane.
He's getting touchdowns. He's 11th in yards after the catch. Air yards metrics are all up there. I mean, there's things to like. The drops are not one of them, but there are things to like. So I think that, well, he's
got to go to his game log and look at the primary quarter against some on Detroit. It looks like an Android name from a Star Wars. BP 1275. BP-1275.
It's like nobody knew who it was.
Botted player number 1275.
Yeah, something's jacked up there, but yeah, that's awesome.
That's fucking.
That's
hilarious.
Fantastic. He's kind of the anti. There was target volume. There has been target volume, actually, 5 or more all season. So starting to convert some of those. He's a guy with floor and boom, basically. His stats are basically if you put boom on some of these other guys we've talked about. So as far as upside guys, he's out there. Again, guy that wasn't drafted highly. Might be hard to pluck him away, but go look at rosters.
You're not doing it after this game.
No.
Wait, you're going to see it. Then after week 5. We'll see what the offense is going to look like. They got the Chargers this week with Bateman activated. It should hopefully be completely healthy. So I'm really hoping this game isn't like the Chargers Cowboys week 2. There's only like 37 total points scored.
Indeed. Dalton Schultz, top 5 in targets and receptions. Just mentioned him as the tight end 4 right now. He's having a little bit of a breakout.
Look, we need this with Hawkinson struggling, Waller not getting the target volume, the consistent target volume that we've enjoyed the last year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
This is the issue with tight ends. This is why we don't hammer the table home about drafting tight ends in these middle rounds. Look, it was always Kelsey and Waller because we felt very confident. We both felt confident about Hawkinson, and we had our concerns with Andrews and Kittle, but they were both proven commodities. Everybody after that, it was just sit and wait until the end of the round. Get guys like Dalton Schultz, take shots on guys like Logan Thomas and Dawson Knox. one of the Patriots tight ends even. It's you take these risks, and this is what pays off. You get a top 5 tight end on a high volume offense. Now with Michael Gallup said that they come back sooner than later, I wonder how this is going to shape up with them in this offense. The fact that Dallas is an up and down passing team. I mean, this is a good defense that has no problem letting Zeke and Pollard run it. So, well, there might be some slower days for Schultz. Schultz definitely has his role in this offense.
He does. Snap share's gone up the last couple weeks. Really 90% last week. So he's definitely been cutting into Jarwin.
As he should.
Routes run is where you get concerned, and with Gallup coming back, a little bit of the target volume. But amongst tight ends, look, there's not a whole lot of revelations at tight end during the season, and we're lucky enough to have a couple of them right now. So,
thank fucking God. For now, we're not even a third way through the season, so we'll see.
Yeah.
we're almost there.
Another one that's a revelation, Tyler Conklin, hanging on in the top 12. Top 12 in receptions, top 12 in targets. Look, it's not sexy, but neither are tight ends.
Vikings.
It's your guy.
it's their boy. Look, he's basically Dawson Knox without touchdowns. He's basically every tight end that there's volume there. You'd like the receiving yards to be bumped up a little bit. This is also the problem with the tight end landscape. Dawson Knox has had one good game, and that's probably the reason why that he is a top 12, because he has his fantasy point finishes have been 21, 32, 2, 26, and 31.
Right.
And that if you want to see a highlighted reason why the tight end landscape is the way it is, your tight end 12 has had one productive week. One productive week.
Everything else has been under.
But he runs
points.
routes.
Yeah.
And this is not a great. This is a okay Minnesota team. The defense has not been up to the level that I thought that they could play at. Maybe they'll get there, but it hasn't looked that way now, and you have to go off the information in which we have now. What we have now is that he's ran 58 routes the last 2 games. And both Thielen and Jefferson aren't practicing. The entire fucking offense is banged up. And Conklin's athletic enough. Like he was a name that popped up when Nerf Smith went down for the year. He's a guy that you should be throwing on potential waiver claims with all these bye weeks coming up.
Yeah. You're going to need
week 7.
Yeah, you're going to need somebody. So it's going to be hard to have a backup tight end available. So that's what you got to do. Got to throw out guys like Conklin and hope they run into something, or you're going to be essentially playing upside there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's all I got for guys that are trending upwards. So a little more than an hour into the show with one good argument. You want to go ahead? Let's go ahead and hit the
beer preview, then we'll preview, or beer review.
Then we'll hit the beer review, and then we'll go from there.
Beer review.
Dan.
Again, I am drinking the brewery that I represent, Distill Brewing, out of Bloomington, Illinois, Blotto. They're out of Normal technically, but it's the Bloomington area. This is their Redbird Ale. This beer is made for the Bloomington, or the Illinois State Redbirds. This is their beer, I guess, for that college team, Illinois State. Again, this is American Red Ale. For those of you that may not know what American Red Ale is, it is slightly malty, slightly sweet. Very, there's some hops. It'll vary in hops. That kind of gives you a very medium, light to medium body with a lot of flavor to it. Mm. And it's one of those great full time because it represents kind of a Marzen style. I think it's more of a sweeter Marzen, especially if you're a little more malty or sweeter Fest beer. But we love reds here. This is a great representation of what the red ale is. And it's very difficult to find, but this style is a great style to try. And especially if you're someone who prides themselves on liking beer, this is a great way to introduce yourself to a very traditional style of beer.
Yep, and classic beer styles too. Like
Classic.
None
of that adjunct shit that we're getting
it's
now.
fall. I like malt forward beers, and this is about the time I like reds as we get into the colder months. So, and things that are more malt forward and sweeter than hop forward and juicy and refreshing.
And the bodies on these are still they're not overpowering.
They're not stouts. So
it's not dominating. It's not a stout or a porter or a full body hazy IPA where you're drinking loads and loads of hops. I mean, this is very, very drinkable. Think of like getting the Alaskan Amber. When you're out there, or New Belgium's, a fat tire. It gives you a lot of flavor and a light medium body that's not going to fill you up too quickly.
Sure. All right, I had Big Muddy's peanut butter cup stout. So peanut butter cup stout, exactly what it sounds like. It's chocolate peanut butter stout. The nose on this, a lot of caramel in it for a chocolate peanut butter stout. It almost reminds me of like a Raisin as I drink it. The mouthfeel is chewy to me, weirdly. But overall, the peanut butter note is definitely there. It's just kind of hiding behind some caramel notes. I don't know if there's like a ton of crystal malt used in this or what. A little bit lighter of a stout too, if you can see that. It's pretty translucent in there. But
yeah.
Some hint of cocoa notes on the back end. Overall, it's very good. I'd recommend it. I'd drink a sixer of it. I don't know that it nails peanut butter cup necessarily, but very good. As for mine, not as good. It's only been caked for a couple days. A couple of things with this one that I think could maybe be straightened out. First off, Dan's cake of this was a lot better than mine. I think a little too heavy on the peanut butter flavoring. So I do get a lot more peanut butter in mine, but we also fermented differently. So I think we got different notes off the yeast. We used Kvik Hornindal, which can give you some tropical and fruity notes. And I always get more peanut butter and jelly off of mine than peanut butter cup because of some of the fruity notes that are coming out in this.
You get some of the darker fruits coming out. I mean, which would be a decent beer. I mean, it's
kind of jammy. So
it sounds good.
It's not bad. It's just not what I'd expect. And there's a little bit of stuff on the finish there that I wasn't quite expecting to have in it. So, we'll see how it settles out. It does take beers even after you carb them a week or two to kind of settle down and fall into what they're going to be. So anyway, it'll be here the next time you're down, I'm sure. And probably a couple others too.
Nice.
I wish I had some of that pumpkin brown left that went with me, but that keg got.
I love me some pumpkin.
That keg got destroyed.
I'm sure it did.
Along with 5 others. So. All right, go ahead and kick us off for games this week.
All right. Thursday night. Buccaneers at the Eagles. Bucs are 7-point favorites. 52.5 is the over-under. I like the Bucs to cover. I just don't. This is more of a feel. Tampa Bay has looked up and down the last few weeks. The defense is hopefully getting healthier. Well, Sherman has looked abysmal. Obviously, some game time speed should get him back up to maybe 65% of what he used to be, which is better than what the Bucs have currently. We know that Philadelphia likes to live off of that garbage time. A shortened week, no Dallas Goedert. I like Tampa Bay to make this cover. Staying away from the over/under. I just don't trust Philly to keep up on their end. Both defenses. If Philly's defense is good enough to kind of keep, in terms of his pass rush, a decent pass rush. So if Brady can get time, it's going to be a visceral game. So Bucs to cover.
Yep, and as far as fantasy goes, this is a Miles Sanders city. He hasn't been getting work. Tampa Bay, very, very tough against the run. They're still bad against the pass, so you're okay at Devonta Smith. Hopefully you don't have to start Jalen Reagor as the 2 or Quez Watkins because I'm not comfortable with anybody outside of Smith. maybe Ertz in the absence of Goddard because the tight end landscape is terrible. But other than that, not a lot from Philly I like here. On the other side of things, with the Bucs, you're pretty neutral on this one. So that's going to be your Godwins, your Evans, your Brown from a neutral perspective as I try to get back to the page that I want to be on. And you're definitely in a Leonard Fournette situation. I think game script's going to dictate it. Eagles have not been good against the run this year, so you're rolling Fournette again this week. But not a lot special here. I'm with you. I like the Bucs to cover that spread.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing I'd maybe take a shot on flexing Sanders. I know by flex, don't put him in your flex. Season high in snap share. Obviously, you're not concerned about the carries because he doesn't get any.
Right.
But he's getting involved in the passing game. And while it's not pretty, 10 points last week, it's touchdowns. Gainwell, it's kind of lived off of vulturing them from him. If there's a week I'm going to play Sanders, it's a game that I expect the Eagles to be throwing a lot. And if Sanders has truly taken away the majority of the snaps and opportunity, then I will take my shot in this game.
Actually, that's a good call out there because the Bucs have given up the third most passing yards to running backs.
There's no Dallas Goedert. They got to get some people involved. It's not going to be sexy on the ground, but if we're looking at a game where Sanders could get 6, 7, 8 catches, maybe or targets and maybe even that many catches, you're going to give yourself a pretty good flex week. I know it's not what you want from your 4th or 5th running back pick, but what we fucking got right now.
It's true. And you can't, like I said, you can't attack the backs the Bucs through the passing game to the backs. So.
Love it. All right. Dolphins, Jaguars. This is
London. This is your London shit show.
This is, you don't need to turn this on because it's going to probably not be great. So Miami is considered the road dogs here. 3-point favorites. Over under is 47 on the nose. I from a betting standpoint, no. No. Nope. Don't want anything to do with it.
Things get way too hokey
especially with Jacksonville.
Yeah.
This might be when they get their how fitting would it be for Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars get their first win in London this year.
They've looked better on offense. Miami has been out of sorts, so
maybe Jacksonville, a little bit of money in the Jacksonville money lines, plus 154. Yeah. So you're getting better than even odds, but it's I wouldn't put a lot. If you're going to be up, just enjoy the shit show that you may get.
Yeah, not sure if Urban Meyer can keep it in his pants long enough to coach a game. Fantasy, I don't love this. I don't love this at all. It's an unpredictable game script. You're okay with James Robinson in this game because he's been on an absolute tear. I don't want to chase Gaskin points. There's not a lot for me to like here amongst either team. I guess you could go Waddle a bit, but I mean, there's just
Waddle's ADOT. It's like insanely low too.
It is insanely low.
So it's like they're like, all right, we have this super fast guy, but we're gonna throw it. His ADOT is 4.1.
Yeah,
4 point. That's 3 yards shorter than Hunter Renfrow, who's a glorified pass catching running back, only running routes.
Yeah. Dan Arnold and Jamal Agnew led the Jaguars in targets last week. So Dan Arnold, there's another tight end you can go grab if you want to.
I mean, you might as well, and he's going to get targets. Tight ends for the Jaguars like to score double digit or like to score multiple touchdowns. So
that they do. There's not a lot else that I really like here, though. Like, I think we can move on. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's move on to a game that brings equal excitement. Texans at the Colts. Colts are 10-point favorites. 42.5. Vegas believes Houston ain't putting up shit for points. The Colts looked good first half against Baltimore before they got, I don't know what the fuck they did. Missed field goals and everything else. The team just looked out of sorts second half. But Houston looked good against New England for most of that game. Davis Mills did his thing. I like Houston to cover 10 points. I don't know how the Colts got away with being 10-point favorites. They've looked massively inconsistent.
Yeah.
I do love the fact that Pittman has become the alpha and that Jonathan Taylor still isn't getting utilized the way that he should, even though he just keeps creating big plays. I like Houston to cover 10 points here, and I'm staying away. I may even take the over. I think there's enough points to be scored on both sides to push this game to 43+.
Yeah, if you're expecting enough points to be scored on both sides and you're going to run out Brandon Cooks, don't chase the Chris Moore points, though, for Houston. Stay away from the running game. Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman on the Colts. Pittman, that's a floor game, though. The Texans are bad, generally speaking. Don't let last week confuse you. So I don't expect Pittman to have to get a ton of volume, but, as good as Pittman's been, hard to sit him right now. And Jonathan Taylor should absolutely eat this week.
And let's also not forget that the entire secondary for the Colts is banged up.
Right.
There is a point in that game where there was only backups in the secondary. Only backups. Cooks has struggled the last 2 weeks, but he's played against Buffalo and New England. A little bit better game.
A little bit better matchup.
A lot better defensive matchup for them with that weak-ass secondary. So expect Cooks to bounce back.
Indeed. All right, can we go to better games?
Yeah, let's move on to the game of the week. Not really. Packers at Bears. Packers are 4.5-point favorites.
No, I see what the game of the week is right now, but Packers.
I know what the game of the week is.
You know what? Packers at Bears will be a good one, though. It's another one. Alexander's hurt, so you can run out Robinson again if you want. He's not getting a ton of volume, though. Damian Williams, Khalil Herbert, pretty much split carries. Again, you're okay.
Herbert looked better, though.
Herbert looked better, and that's why we call
a good matchup.
And Williams is, according to Roto World, Damian Williams is limited in practice with volume because he's got like 3 injury designations right now. So
that's funny.
Yep, Herbert looked like the better back. So there's a waiver pickup for you if you're still out there. You could even consider flexing in Herbert in this one a bit if you wanted to. I think that's a very makeable play. As far as the rest of the Bears go, Robinson with caution. Game script should dictate that. It should dictate him having a lot of work, but we haven't really seen it this year. But again, you're just going to kind of keep hoping with him right now because what else can you do? That's it for the Bears. Fields I'm okay with, again, script thing, and rushing floor, but you shouldn't necessarily have to stream him.
Hopefully you don't have to, but if you do, you do.
Packers side is pretty chalk. I don't need to say anything special about them.
All right, so the betting standpoint.
Yeah, go ahead.
Packers at Bears. Packers are 4.5-point favorites. 44.5 is the game total. Like I kind of like Chicago to cover at home. Look, they're starting to. I won't say surge, but they're playing better. They're at home. I think this is a winnable game for them. The defense looked better last week against the Raiders. We know that the Packers don't have the greatest offensive line. Running back struggles with the running game there. And only one receiver. Look, Rodgers is Rodgers. I won't be surprised if Green Bay wins this game. But Chicago getting 4.5 here at home, playing better than they played all year, I'll take that chance.
Huh. Okay.
You expect me to give you a positive Chicago take, did you?
I did not. No, that was the confusion. But they are playing better than they played all year. I'll give you that one. Keep her moving.
All right. Chiefs at football team. Chiefs 6.5-point favorites. there's a game that they need to get right in. This could be that game.
Could be. Should
55 and a half. Yeah, right. 55 and a half game total. I'll take the Chiefs. Like I took them last week expecting them to kind of, all right, we got Buffalo. We need to get our shit together. Maybe this is that game. I'm going to ride that. I'll take the Chiefs.
It's a confidence builder.
Confidence builder, right? It's the Appalachian State game that they need. 6.5. I'll take the Chiefs there. I'm staying away from the point of the low.
Yeah, Chiefs are chalky. Washington's chalky. I mean, Ricky Seals-Jones is probably the only name to mention there. You're okay with starting him. He saw decent volume in the absence of Logan Thomas. It's a game that they're going to have to throw in.
J.D. McKissick, maybe then.
J.D. McKissick, too. Yes, that's a good call out. J.D. McKissick has been getting a ton of volume in games where game script goes to passing. Like, we're talking 20-plus points in PPR leagues volume for J.D. McKissick. It's a good game to run J.D. McKissick out.
Yeah, it's been, again, running back's hurt, bye week's here.
Yep, bye weeks are here. That's a good call out on the McKissick start.
Highest scoring game total with over a touchdown spread. So.
Yeah. For those interested, the Blackhawks are already losing 3-0. We're halfway through the first.
Don't worry, they'll make a comeback somehow just because I clapped. All right. Is that it for it? I mean, do you have anything on the Chiefs? No?
No, they're chalk. There's nothing special for me to say about the Chiefs. We talked about them being like a little one-dimensional. We talked about
Daryl Williams.
Talked about Edwards-Helaire. Yeah, I'd go ahead and run Daryl Williams out there in this game. Washington's not been fantastic against the run. I'm going to say that, and I'm going to go vet that real quick. But
I mean, he's a starter now, and
they've been about average.
I don't expect it should be Henderson. Who's the backup behind him?
Behind Williams?
Yeah, Williams.
Jerick McKinnon.
McKinnon. Maybe McKinnon will get a little bit of run, but I'm rolling out Daryl Williams.
Yeah, it's Daryl Williams. But actually, I say that football team's actually between 21st and 25th in the running game. I mean, they're a top 10 run defense. So it's not pretty, but
not pretty. I like the game script side of it, where maybe Williams falls into the end zone. So again,
agreed.
Flex play, not your RB2.
Yeah, the game script is the best part of that one because I expect the Chiefs to be up in this one. Washington doesn't have the firepower, although Terry McLaurin will have a hell of a game.
Hopefully. Minnesota at Carolina.
Oh, Taylor Heineke too. You're okay with that? He's been okay when he's going to pass a ton.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a little fun, stinky game stack to go. You pick one of the higher game totals of the weekend. Throw a little Heineke McLaurin with the Hillary Kelsey comeback. So
that's DFS speak. Moving on.
DFS speak. Minnesota at Carolina. This is shocking to me. Minnesota is a point favorite at 46.5.
Really?
Minnesota 2-3, facing off against the Panthers at 3-2.
I'm rolling.
Are they 3-2? Yeah, they're the Panthers.
I'm rolling Sam Darnold this week over Matt Stafford as of right now.
Rams on Giants. Oh, yeah.
Game script.
Yeah, true. Anyways,
gets game scripty.
I don't know how the Vikings are a point for. Look, the Panthers have not looked right. McCaffrey's, as they say, it's 50-50 chance to play. I don't think he'll play this week. I think they'll let him sit another week.
They should.
Money line Panthers are plus 102. If you think the Panthers, I mean, this is a pick'em game. If this was at Minnesota, they'd be like 3.5-point favorites. But this is essentially a pick'em game. I'm sorry, 4.5, 5-point favorites. This is basically a pick'em game. Maybe you don't bet this game. I don't know who wins, but both teams have been, I think, fun and disappointing at the same time, and I would rather just stay away from it. So,
yeah, I would too. If I'm the Panthers, I'm not rushing CMC back in this one.
No need to. None.
And keep an eye on that on Sunday. If not, you're absolutely fine with Chuba. I just said I'm starting Darnold over Stafford this week, given the matchup. That's because I expect there to be some throwing in this game. Dalvin Cook should be back. So that's good, I guess.
Yay.
DJ Moore, you're good with. This is another game where you're just you're really chalky across these two teams. There's not anything super sexy to get into. The Panthers are a solid defense, but you've got the guys you would normally start on the Vikings are top tier, so you don't sit that against solid. And for the Panthers players, the Vikings are not a great defense, but there's only a handful of them that you'd run out every week anyway, and that's it's going to be DJ Moore, Chuba Hubbard, and Sam Darnold, who's top 10 quarterback right now, and is getting rushing work. So it's fallen off a little bit.
Leading the league in rushing touchdowns, isn't he still?
Yeah.
That's fucking Darnold.
He's tied with a bunch of people now, but yeah.
Yeah, tied. I mean, that's good for him, buddy. Good for you, Darnold.
So I think it'll be a good week for him, at least.
All right, let's move on to a more exciting game. Game of the week.
This is the game of the week. Cardinals-Browns, or we're not there yet?
No, Chargers at
Ravens. Okay.
Ravens.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one.
Chargers at Ravens. Ravens 3-point favorites coming off of another exhausting game to watch. 52 on the nose is the game total. I made jokes about this being like week 2, Cowboys Chargers, where there was only 37 total points, where the game total was like 53.5, 54. This one I do like.
Mm-hmm.
You have the battle of the two young QBs, both mobile in their own right. Obviously, Jackson in his own different realm. Chargers look fucking incredible right now. You came off of the shootout against Cleveland. You get an offense that can also lead the shootouts. Baltimore has become more vertical. You get Bateman's debut. This will be the most popular game stack. So in DFS, you're going to just expect higher ownership in this game. From a betting standpoint, though, I want to enjoy this. I do. Ravens getting 3 points again. They're just a home dog. So they should get 3 points in this game. I think the Chargers will win, though. Chargers plus 136 is the money line. If I'm betting anything, it's either the over or the Chargers money line. Baltimore has gotten fucking lucky, but they've played better. They've played up to their opponents. They've downplayed against the Lions, against the Colts. Well, they've played significantly better against the better teams. And they're going to give all that they got at home against the Chargers.
Sure.
The Chargers will win.
Yeah, I think the Chargers will win also. And this is... Look, the Chargers have not given up a ton to wide receivers this year. But with the explosion you saw at Baltimore last year, I don't see how last week, sorry. I don't see how you don't go run out at least Hollywood Brown in this one and Mark Andrews. And
Brown's a must start.
Hollywood Brown's been on a tear. You're not going to get cute with anything else over there. But I would absolutely be comfortable with Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews. On the Chargers side, this is why the middle of the season sucks, because you're saying the same thing every week. Mike Williams has been on an
chalk.
It's chalk.
Plays.
They're chalk.
Plays.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's
Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler. Probably a goal by the Blackhawks.
There was a Blackhawks goal right there.
All right, 3-1 now. They're making their comeback, boys and girls.
So, anyway, yeah, it is chalk. It's Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Jared Cook's been all right, Austin Eckler, Justin Herbert. Hey, chalk.
Ravens, chalk. Don't play running backs.
Yeah.
Devonta Freeman, very deep leagues. He's catching the passes. Expect high scoring, expect higher pace of play, a lot of throwing.
Yeah.
I think Devonta Freeman could actually have, a decent pass catching for this week. Let's move on to the exact opposite of a game of the week. Bengals at the Lions. Bengals are 3.5-point favorites. 47.5 is the game total. Bengals have looked good this year. They really have. Detroit they've come so fucking close to a win.
A lot.
2 of their last 3 games have been lost by 50-plus yard field goals. One of them being their record time, or the record-setting 66-yarder.
Right, and then last week
54 yards from Greg Joseph, where the Vikings
had no business winning that game. The Vikings don't kick game-winning field goals.
No.
we know anything about the Vikings, it's that they don't kick game-winning field goals. I
don't.
fully expected that kick to miss.
Dude, if I had been watching that game, I was doing some beer pouring work. I'd be like, we're gonna miss this. But it was a 50-plus yarder, which I feel almost more confident in than anything lower than 50. Because for some reason, they make the 50-pluses, but they miss anything under 40. Because reasons. Detroit to win this game. They're going to get their first fucking win.
You think?
Detroit money line, plus 168.
I'm going to have to bet this because every time you make a random fuck it call, it normally happens.
It's been weird.
And that's what this feels like, is just a random fuck it call. I want them to win. They're going to win.
Yeah. It's,
Smart money says
they
Bengals.
deserve a fucking, Dan Campbell deserves a fuck. Give this man one W. That's all they need.
Smart money says Bengals.
Smart money should be Bengals. 3.5 against a bad Detroit team that can't get out of their own fucking way. But the games have been close.
Yeah.
Detroit spread 3.5. I mean, look. The correct call is you take Bengals in the spread. But the fucking call is you bet on Detroit.
I'm gonna bet on Detroit just for fun.
Hey, I always put my money where my mouth is. I will have to bet.
Throw $5 on Detroit and see what happens.
I mean, I live game the Ravens to come back and win money, so I got some extra money in the FanDuel account. So, all right, from a fantasy standpoint, Hopper, take it away.
From a fantasy standpoint, you're chalked with the Bengals. I'm not concerned about T. Higgins' first week coming off of injury. Chase has been on an absolute tear. Mixon I think his workload will pick up another week removed from injury. So I'm not concerned about anything there. For the Lions, expect Swift to be heavily involved in the passing game as he has been. Hawkinson should see a bit of an uptick. There's no reason you're sitting those two. The guy that you're really looking at here is Amon-Ra St. Brown to see the uptick in target volume. He's been solid the last 2 weeks, and it's a game script that should dictate him getting a decent amount of work. So Amon-Ra St. Brown's really the first deep call that I can give on this show. 8 targets each of the last 2 weeks, and now Cephas is out in a game that's going to dictate passing.
Love it. Hey, we've been talking about it all year with St. Brown. It was just a matter of time.
Mm-hmm.
And that matter of time happened due to an injury. Hey, shit happens every single year, every single week. You gotta follow where the targets are going to, and the Bengals are a good enough team to kind of force Detroit to keep throwing, but neutral enough game script doesn't get too crazy.
Ox just came damn close to scoring a shorty.
Oh man, we do love shorties.
We do love shorties.
Rams at the Giants.
Shorty. Yeah. Please keep going.
All right. Rams are 9.5-point favorites at the Giants. 48.5.
Gross.
Look. Rams cover this. Giants just no Barkley.
Yeah, no Barkley.
Galladay. You have a concussed Daniel Jones.
Hey, Devontae Booker is the backup there, and the Rams have been giving up a ton on the ground.
And he catches passes.
So, look, Devontae...
9.5 says that the Giants are going to be playing from behind.
Yep, I would bet it. So, Devontae Booker, as far as the receiver core goes, look, I can't give you anything on the receiver core until Sunday. They're all still hurt. We don't know who's playing and who's not playing. So
I'm just going to go out on a limb and say none. Somebody is going to go off.
Somebody's going to go off, but you don't want to bet on that somebody going off. And it's going to depend on who's playing. You can typically, if Galladay's playing, I'd expect him to draw Ramsey for the majority of the game.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree with that.
If Tony plays and Shepard's out again,
Shepard.
then
I think if Shepard
plays, I think he's the guy.
You play Shepard. You can chase the Tony points, but I think you might be disappointed with.
Yeah, I think
everyone's back and relatively.
I think Shepard's the other guy if he goes outside of Devontae Booker. But I am saying start Devontae Booker this week.
Yeah, maybe Slayton catches a deep ball.
I'm also saying that Daniel Jones with the rushing floor is fine this week.
Rams chalk.
Rams are chalk. Although they're chalk in the sense of Cooper Kupp Matthew Stafford, Daryl Henderson. Game script may dictate a little bit less workload for Robert Woods this week, so just be cautious on that
Squeaky
one.
wheel, squeaky wheel got the oil. So it's we'll see if it's 2 weeks in a row. Matchup should obviously, game script should dictate that there might not be a ton of volume second half, but for a game to go the way that it's supposed to go, this team has to score points. So I don't know if I'm trusting Robert Woods, but again, we're in bye week hell here. Not hell, but we're at start of bye weeks. Maybe.
It's not hell yet, but
yeah,
it is start of the bye
not yet.
weeks.
It's start of the bye.
Hell comes later.
All right. The other game of the week, how Hopper thought it was, which it probably is for most people.
It's probably
Cardinals,
is the actual game of the week.
Cardinals at the Browns. Browns are at home 3-point favorites. 49.5. Over.
Over.
The fact that this is under 50 points, over. Look, Vegas doesn't make a lot of mistakes when you get out of week 3. And while this may look like a thing where we're going to be completely wrong about, and this game goes like 33 total points, over. Coming off of the shootout against the Chargers, Browns, look, offenses look better than most weeks. Cardinals have kind of fallen off from the higher scoring, but it's a battle of two great teams. I'm taking the Cardinals to win. We're going to keep the winning streak going. Browns fall to 3-3, and the game goes over.
All right. Looking at this from a fantasy perspective, sorry, I'm looking for Cardinals passing stats right now because we just do all this on the fly, apparently.
You don't fucking research here. Come on now.
No, we do it on the fly.
Exactly.
Cardinals giving up the 11th most points to wide receivers. They're not giving up a boatload on the ground. I will say that shiftier backs like your Dalvin Cooks and James Robinsons of the world have actually done pretty well. Again, the Browns are going to run a ton. So you got to look at, Chubb and Hunt both have injury designations. I don't think there's a chance that neither of them play. So, or I don't think there's a chance that either of them miss, I guess I should say. So,
yes.
I'd expect them both to be in. But, this is also a game where you could see some passing involvement. So if you've been hesitant on Odell, I suppose. From the Cardinals' perspective, we talked about James Conner. He's very touchdown dependent, so not necessarily if you don't have to, but you might have to.
You might have to,
given some of the injuries and stuff that are going on here. The Browns have given up some red zone touchdowns down around the goal line, so you can make that work. It should again be a high-scoring game, so you're on board with Chase Edmonds there. And then let me go look at one other thing here in regards
Baker
to how
coming
you can
off of
attack
his best game of the year too.
Yeah, you do. And it looks like big outside deep threats are kind of how you're gonna attack. You're gonna attack Cleveland. So Hopkins not really a deep threat, but that's the guy you're looking at here is probably Hopkins. Number ones are feasting in this. Hill, Brandon Cooks, Justin Jefferson, and Mike Williams, all huge games. So number ones are feasting, so expect a decent amount to Hopkins this week, but that doesn't mean that twos have not been usable as well. Could bode well for Christian Kirk, although I would avoid that if you can.
Yeah, I do like the deep shot call with that, though. They're looking at if deep shots are what's winning it, then maybe you're going to have to see some. If we think this game's going to go over, then that scoring's going to get involved. This might be that game where Kurt finally gets one of those deep throws. Not Kurt, then maybe Rondale.
That's Rondale. Rondale Moore would be who I would look at to have kind of an efficiency blow-up game because you can work this team deep.
Yeah, love it.
So I'm going to make a dart throw call on Rondale Moore here over Christian Kirk. But,
love it.
I may eat those words. We'll see.
Eating W's, maybe. Or eating L's. We'll see. Raiders at Broncos. Broncos are 3.5-point favorites. 44.5 is the game total. This is the first game post-Gruden era for the Raiders. Maybe Brent Edwards will actually get targets before the fourth quarter now. Teddy's going to play, right? He should be like.
Teddy's going to play. Yeah, he played last week. He's cleared.
The battle of the X3-0 teams. Under. No, I'm not betting this game. Nope. I don't trust either team. Maybe it's maybe Denver to cover the 3.5. Raiders have always dug themselves into a hole every single game this season. And while that's bound to eventually break, this is the information we have now. Broncos to cover 3.5, and that's it.
I'm looking at both Broncos running backs here. And it's really tough still to pick one because they're still pretty even at a 50-50 split. Williams has by far been the more efficient of the two. I think. Well, it's actually not by far. They've been pretty close, honestly. Yardage advantage goes to Williams. Snap advantage still goes to Gordon. And either way, I think they're both kind of low-end RB2 plays this week. Because there's definitely upside to be had for the running backs in this game on the Broncos side. And then this is absolutely a Cortland Sutton game. It's a game where the Raiders should be able to push a little bit of scoring, and you should absolutely be able to get a little bit out of the Broncos offense. So I'm looking both running backs this week plus Cortland Sutton. On the Raiders side of this, Renfrow again. Watch Ronald Darby, see if he plays. If not, they have been able to attack Kyle Fuller a bit. Bodes well for Henry Ruggs, probably more so than Edwards. Not that I don't expect Fuller to be on Edwards, but the way that you burn Kyle Fuller is speed. So, as far as Renfrow goes, floor game. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's floor game. That's all I got. Waller, you're not sitting that tight end. So, for the Raiders, your big takeaway is potentially some Ruggs points. But, the bigger takeaways here on the Broncos side was Sutton and the two backs this week.
Deep shot chance, maybe to Ruggs.
Yeah.
As your one potential sneaky play.
Yeah.
All right. Cowboys at the Patriots. Cowboys are 3.5-point favorites. Over-under is 51.5. Paying a little respect to more of the vertical game that has been showing.
What's the over-under on this one?
51.5.
Really?
Even split on the odds. Yeah, it's a higher game. It feels high, right? I mean, the fact that the spread is even at -110 for both, where there is no lenient side to over or under, in terms of spread or in terms of odds. But I like Dallas here at 3.5. Well, they have been giving up a lot of yards. Obviously, they've been getting a lot of turnovers.
Yeah.
Great. It's good pass rush, good improving defense, and an offense that can
score.
Pretty much do it all. Yeah. Outside of their game against Tampa Bay, they've looked very good.
I almost feel the under in this game.
Under could definitely hit. If I would have to, gun to head, have to pick one or the other, I'm picking the under here. That's generally based off of, can New England, put up enough points
and hold up their end, and I don't know if they can.
Yeah, they're at home, so that's why the spread is at the 3.5. I think it was at Dallas to be about 7, 6.5, 7. But Dallas to cover, lean under.
Sure. Yeah, Dallas to cover, lean under. As far as receivers against New England, I mean, they're not doing a lot. Yeah, they're not doing a ton. So, I mean, you're going to play Cooper and Lamb, but expect floor, and I would look to get some ceiling elsewhere on your on your roster. As far as receivers against Dallas, they are obviously doing a bit more. DJ Moore had a huge game. Kadarius Toney had a big game. Mike Williams and Antonio Brown both also big games. The only receiver for New England that's really doing anything, though, is Jacoby Myers. So you can go ahead and play Myers. They should be able to keep him kind of away from Diggs because Myers is primarily a slot guy. But
Diggs will probably get on. Aguilar will probably land Diggs.
Yeah,
I guess.
most likely. So it's really Jacoby Myers here. And then looking at backs against Dallas from a Damian Harris perspective, I don't love it. You've got 3 under 12 points. Devontae Booker did have a decent game last week. It was kind of the exception rather than the norm. And very touchdown-aided. So I would steer clear of any Patriots backs this week.
No. That's simple.
Yeah, it's that simple. And also not the best week for Tony Pollard.
Here's a good question. Yeah, Pollard is kind of it's been the Zeke show.
Yeah,
it's been nice with Pollard, but we're starting to see it back.
Yeah, you got to have efficiency out of Pollard, and this is not the place where you're going to see a ton of efficiency.
Drizzy Jake is back. He's got a question for us, and this one could be an interesting conversation.
Oh, yeah?
Debating between Heineke or Joe Burrow in his QB2 spots. In his 2 QB league. So Heineke against the Chiefs, which we talked about, high game total, negative game script for the football team, potential garbage time points if the Chiefs do get up big. Joe Burrow against Detroit on the road, but against his boy, get a healthier Higgins, so get a healthier Mixon. I kind of like Heineke.
I like Heineke. I don't think this is going to be that great of a discussion. I like Heineke because of the game total and how bad the Chiefs' defense has been against the receiving game. I think I like Heineke in this one because my fear with Bengals Lions is that since he just goes up.
And Mixon.
Yeah.
He's getting healthier by the week.
Yeah.
This could be, Burrow doesn't need to throw the ball 30 times.
Yep.
It may be a 27, 28, 29, 30 pass attempt week, which you're hoping then for high efficiency, so big throws. So Jamar Chase definitely offers that. This question, because both quarterbacks are relatively on the same playing field when it comes to fantasy output. Again, like you said, we're going to lean towards the better game script matchup for Heineke.
Yeah.
Look, there might be some turnovers there. You might be a little bit inefficient, but from a volume, from a passing standpoint, Heineke may go 50-plus here. So you're looking at then 300-plus, hopefully a couple touchdowns and, 2 or 3 to offset maybe the 1 or 2 picks he throws.
50-plus throws, by the way, just for clarifying.
Could be 50-plus throws.
Yeah, not 50-plus points. 50-plus throws.
I mean, maybe they put up. I'm kidding.
No.
Yeah, no, 50-plus passing attempts for Heineke, yeah. Heineke over Burrow. It's a good question.
It's a good question. But, yeah, the way that the chips fall this week, I think we're both in agreement there. Which doesn't always happen.
No. Watched earlier in the show this year our debate on Hunt versus Hunt for
Herbert.
Hunt and Herbert. All right. 2 games left. Sunday Night Football. This game probably looked a hell of a lot better on paper.
It sure did. You get Geno Smith against the ghost of Ben Roethlisberger.
Geno Smith versus worst Dwayne Haskins.
God.
Seahawks at Steelers. Steelers are 4.5-point favorites. No, thank you, Drizzy Drake.
Thank you.
And 42.5 is the game total. 42.5, and Pittsburgh is 4.5 favorites. I'll take. I mean, Smith looked passable. He had that. He did the Geno Smith thing and threw a bad pick in the game.
Which he's trying to win the game there, right? I mean,
yeah,
you're not going to take the sack. You just got to uncork it and hope. It was basically a Hail Mary.
Look, I'll still take Pittsburgh. I'll take 4.5. I may even flirt with the under. I don't like either. It's like it's Seattle's bad off. It's a bad defense. Ryan McDowell just posted on Twitter during the game that Pittsburgh is the only team to not allow a top, I think it was 24 running back, top 12, top 24 running back finish this year.
Yeah.
And you got to run with that.
I don't want to start anything in this game outside of the wide receivers.
For Seattle?
And Pittsburgh. Well, yeah, Seattle. Najee Harris obviously is fine,
Yes.
but I don't want to start anything on Seattle outside of the outside of Lockett and Metcalf, and that's
I don't
just
even
because
think it feels great.
it doesn't feel great. No, it's kind of inconsistent on what type of receiver is beating Pittsburgh, right? I mean, in PPR, you've got a lot of plus games against them. But, okay, let's see what you make about this.
Okay.
You had, in PPR, you had Diggs at 15.9, Ruggs at 22, Chase at 22, Cobb at 23, Sutton at 25.
So speed or bigger body guys. I mean, Diggs.
Well, except Cobb. And Ruggs isn't a bigger body. Yeah, speed or bigger body guy.
I said speed or bigger body guy.
Which you have a speed and bigger body guy in DK Metcalf. And you got Lockett playing out of the slot, which is where, at least a couple of these guys run out of part of the time, who also has a good amount of speed. That's why I'm on both wide receivers.
I mean, I think they're both 5 plays. They both were able to be somewhat viable when Gino came in the second half and took over for a banged up Wilson. He'll have a full week of practice with the starters.
And we'll have to see how it goes. That's why we're not falling off of those two yet. I mean, they're both perennial top 24 guys week in and week out, so it's hard to fall off of either of them, even with Geno Smith there. I think Lockett's more of a safety blanket if you're looking to pick one over the other for some reason. But
I mean, one would hope. It's hard to really know. I mean, so and my biggest worry is that this team leans on the running game in a matchup where you can't lean on the running game because there's no give to this Pittsburgh's defense. It's
not against the run, no. So you're not playing Chris Carson, even if he's healthy. You're not playing whatever random Alex Collins or DJ Dallas or whoever you wanted to go play against Pittsburgh. So for Pittsburgh, it's Claypool, Johnson, and Najee, which is going to be the case without Juju there. But yeah.
Yeah. All right. Final game.
I bet the league's wishing they could flex games right now.
Oh, my God. That Sunday night game, rough. This Monday night game may actually be rough. Hopefully Julio plays. Bills at Tennessee.
Julio's
Bills are
back at practice, so he should play.
Hopefully they get a full complement to this Tennessee offense. Bills 5.5-point favorites on the road against Tennessee. 54.5 is the game total. I like the Bills to cover, and I like the under.
I like the under. When
this Bills defense is fucking good. They got hurt a little bit against Sunday night against the Chiefs.
They're still
This is a
good.
good Bills. This is a good Bills defense and an offense that's surging. This could be Cardinals Titans week 1 all over again, where the Bills offense just runs up, gets up early, and the pass rush just suffocates this Tennessee offense.
Yeah. There's not really been, other than Mecole Hardman last week, you don't have a guy in PPR that's been over 15 points. So on the Chiefs. So, I mean, look, A.J. Brown's kind of had a down start. Julio will be back. I don't know that I love either of them's plays this week against this defense.
I mean, what you're hoping for is that there is some volume.
They
can stumble into some volume if the game goes high scoring.
Yeah.
It's garbage time.
So, I mean, yeah.
Most aren't going to sit Brown. I mean,
you're not going to sit Brown, no.
He spent a lot of capital. He spent a high value on it. So I get it if you can't.
Or won't.
Just lower the expectation. Or won't, obviously.
But lower your expectations. You're not saying they won't go off. We're saying they might not. So there's a good chance that they don't. So
I'll be interested to see who White draws in this game.
yeah, I will too. Probably
It's gonna be
Brown.
White or Julio. Yeah, or
But-
not White, Brown or Julio.
They also have very good safeties on this Bills
They
team,
do.
which makes it hard to go over the top. So just something to keep in mind there. As far as the Bills go, have at it.
Right. Play everybody.
Oh, you're playing Moss, Sanders, and Knox for sure, and Allen,
Diggs.
Yeah, play everybody.
Yeah.
Except for Beasley.
Yeah, fuck him.
Fuck Beasley.
Fuck him.
Fuck him.
That's it.
That's it. That's all we got.
That's the show, guys. Thank you.
all for tuning in. We'll be back next week on Tuesday.
Maybe,
Is a
maybe
reminder.
Sunday, but we will be here Tuesday.
We'll for sure be here Tuesday. Might be back Sunday. We'll see. Talk to y'all then.
Peace.